It's been 1 month. Today is October 30th, day 30 of Occupy LA, and you're watching Inside Out News. It was another quiet weekend here at Occupy LA. Mostly music going on, the General Assembly. Right now, the Janitors Union is feeding the occupiers Salvadoranian food and serenading them with live music.
De mis ojos empieza a brotar el llanto, porque yo te quiero tanto y no lo puedo evitar. Ahí quedó.
Caminos de Guanajuato.
Shepard Fairey came by the occupation yesterday. He visited the print shop and talked to some of the occupiers. He also brought along with him some protest signs that he printed himself. I had an opportunity to interview him. We talked a bit about the role of the artist in this type of movement, and here's what he had to say. Your slogan as an artist has been that rather than the message is the medium is the message. And correct me if I'm wrong on that. It's that.
I'm sorry, say that again?
That the medium is the message rather than the traditional saying that the message is the medium. That's been your slogan. Is that correct?
Yeah, the slogan, the medium is the message, really was coined by Marshall McLuhan, but I applied it to street art. The idea that you're willing to go out there and take a risk and express yourself in public space that should be open to every single taxpayer. Should be a venue for expression, but it's not. You can be arrested for it. But just the mere courage to do that, the act of defiance, shows that you're willing to take risks, to put your ideas out there and shape things, even if it goes against the grain of what's seen as acceptable. And I think that all the progress that the United States has ever made has required a few courageous people to set in motion things by taking risks. And I very much believe in that idea that the domino effect by a few courageous people is the value of that can't be underestimated.
So, and you've also, your type of art has been sort of like a creation of a sort of fake level, like propaganda or advertisements, like starting with your Obey, using the Andre the Giant, and then you seem to apply your style in a political realm, moving in with Obama and doing the very iconic image of him, and now you're here traveling to the occupation sites. Have you been to any other occupation sites?
No, I haven't. I've been out of town the last 3 weeks. I've been following things online, and I've been putting images out on my site and following things and posting about things happening in New York, things happening in LA, things happening all over the place, Oakland. But I am a very, very busy person doing a lot of different projects. A lot of the things that have kept me busy were different charity projects, things for Water in Africa, the Bridge School for handicapped kids in San Francisco. So I've been very restless to try to get here. But I did make, I made free downloads of a bunch of them, of different images of mine, high resolution, to support the movement. And that's what I've been able to do. I'm here today to check it out in person, and I'm really inspired by what I see. There's a lot of different creative things going on. There's a lot of really good energy, but my work's always been about empowerment, the idea that you don't have to be a powerful person or even a person with exceptional talents. All you have to do is make something. I come from the punk rock, skateboarding, do-it-yourself background where the passion behind something is more important than the skill behind it, and that passion translates. The work that I've made that's encouraged people to question advertising, question propaganda, is use the visual language of advertising and propaganda in a way to hopefully illuminate its devices. But you asked me about the Obama poster. Of course, that poster was a tool of propaganda in a sense, but it was an absolutely sincere tool of propaganda. I actually felt that Obama's policies would be better for the country than McCain's policies. Been a little bit let down by Obama, but I still think in the very flawed two-party system that we have, he's the best thing that's viable. He's the best person that's viable. But the public, we need to push him. We need to put our ideas out there to push him and to push the government in general in the right direction. So that's why a physical, tangible movement like this with messages that are resonating is so important, because just going to the ballot box and voting isn't enough. We have to do more to shift the conversation onto the topics, the issues that really are going to make a difference for the average American's life. Right now, in the Washington, D.C. bubble, the conversation is about the interests of the few very powerful people, and that's been a progression of that, a digression, I'd really say, has been happening ever since Reagan. So that's why I made this Reagan with the corporate violence for sale, and the anonymous businessman, corporate violence for sale. One point that I'd really like to make is that the United States is a huge resource of common assets that are everyone's. Yet those assets are abused by the very powerful, whether it's polluting the environment or using the roads to distribute product that every taxpayer pays for. That the average person doesn't benefit from all that, and the people, the corporate people affect the legislation. Wall Street, obviously, is a big issue here, but it's broader than that. But I'm just trying to make some images and support a movement that I think calls out the injustice, and hopefully the powers that be will listen.
And it seems that because you've come from sort of a street art background, that it seems like it's very easy for you to transition into a political setting like this because of your belief in equality and access to all. What about for an artist who is not necessarily from a street art background? What would you say to them in terms of getting involved politically or getting involved in this kind of people's movement?
Yeah, I'd say that any artist can make a difference, whether they're sharing their work online or creating signs that they come down here and hand out, or they're just making a free download of an image, participating in the conversation. The inspiration travels. There's a ripple effect. And the beautiful thing about art is it has the ability to break through people's predispositions because it works intuitively. It hits you in the gut, and someone who might resist an intellectual argument in one direction, if they respond to an image, they're going to find an intellectual justification for why they responded to it. It might take a little while for it to marinate, for that process to occur, but images can really change things. I think because I'm an artist, I'm especially sensitive to it, but it's great therapy as well. Making images are that's a pleasurable process. Arguing about issues can have its benefits, but the therapy of making art that actually is the sugar that helps the medicine go down, I think, is another way that sometimes isn't valued as much as it should be.
And do you have any particular solution for the current issues that people who are occupying or that affect the 99%? Do you have a solution to solve those problems?
In the short term, I have no overarching huge solution to what we're facing. I mean, unfortunately, change seems to happen very slowly in the United States, but I think that Wall Street reform was an opportunity that was squandered. The bailout, that there weren't conditions that went with that, the corporations, the banks receiving that money, was really disappointing. But I think there's still time for another round of that to happen. And you know, the people want it. The people whose mortgages are upside down, giving them the chance to refinance. These are little things that create progress. But I think that the public needs to continue pushing for those ideas of the playing field being leveled. And there's so many different ways that can happen. And I think that if the public continues to demonstrate that they will not rest until it does happen, it will. It's a democracy, at least partially.
Tomorrow, the occupiers are planning to make a visit to the Halloween parade in Hollywood. We won't be doing a report tomorrow, but look for us here at Occupy LA on Tuesday, when hopefully things will be back in swing. This is Margot Paez signing off for Inside Out News. Good night.